Hey, good morning, guys, and welcome to week 2 of OS 210. So, let me start off by sorry about the confusion on how I do weeks here with Goodwin. And I want to take a second and explain why I like things to end on Sunday, vice Tuesday, like a lot of other professors. And the reason really is let me pause the TV here. Sorry about that. It's because I have another job too, right? Much like you, I'm actually a student in 2 classes right now. I'm teaching another class on top of my Goodwin, on top of my full-time job. So yeah, I'm pretty busy like you guys are. And that being said, so if class ended on Tuesday for the week, we have requirements. For instance, this Wednesday is the first census day. So if the week ends on Tuesday at midnight and you haven't submitted anything, on Wednesday, I have to mark you absent. That gives me 0 time to contact you to say, hey, what's happening? So I don't like that. I at least want a day or so for our communication before I have to mark you absent if you have not participated. And the same can be said with finals at the end, because if final papers are due on Tuesday, the last day of class, well, there's always some stragglers, right? There's always somebody that has something going on. May not be their fault, may be their fault. Uh, or you submit something and I get half a paper, some bad electrons get delivered to me, or you need some clarification. If papers are turned in on the last day of class, that gives me 0 time to hand it back and say, hey, you need to fix this, or I only got half a paper, or the email system ate it up, So that's why I like things to end on Sunday evening, vice the Tuesday. So it just gives me a little bit of a buffer to communicate with you guys. Excuse me. So, okay. So this week, we're doing some more on our communication plan. And also, for our discussion board this week, I want you guys to do a video. A little thing just like this for your discussion board. And there's a question there, and I want you to answer it. And the reason is because I want you to explore the different types of communication that we have. And think about this. Is there a benefit to seeing the person vice reading? And what would it be? I know, for instance, you get nothing out of looking at me because I'm a pretty ugly dude. But is there a human factor now, since you're just not reading words on a page? Is there, do you see the expressions on my face or something, and or even the environment around me? You see an Afghan behind me that my mother knitted when I was a kid, and this now makes me seem a little bit more human. I don't know. So these are things that we got to think about when we do our communication plan. Our readings, we have chapter 2 and 3 in our book. We're going to be exploring classical and not so classical organizational structure. So, and this is very important in our communication plans, because if we have a very structured chain of command where one person talks to this person and they relay here to relay here, relay information, does the information get lost in transit? If it's very structured and you have multiple layers, how are you going to communicate? Are you just going to verbally communicate? Are you going to communicate in writing? And so how is that going to go about? Now, a matrix organization where you don't have all of these classical layers in an organization, they have their communication issues and challenges also, because a lot of times everybody is kind of doing their own thing. So you don't know what this person's doing vice this department or what this person's doing. And that's a challenge too, especially when there's a team or a job that interferes, or you need multiple people within different matrices. So we're going to be exploring that. And I think that's really about it. I put a little video down there for our communication plans, and we're going to be talking about stakeholders, customers, and employees, and vision statements. And yeah, we're moving right along. There was some good conversation in discussion boards. I really liked, we were talking about unions, and that's something to think about. Are unions necessary today, especially in today's technological world? Has the jobs of unions changed? Uh, I have my views. I think, unions are necessary. I do believe that. Uh, that I don't think they should refuse people to work, but I do think that employee rights have to be watched after. Now, for instance, working for the government, we have a small union. So a lot of times things like office space, every employee is supposed to have so much office space, they're supposed to have their own phone. If you are in a position like mine, you're supposed to have your own computer if you're in a position like mine. So if upper level management had to do cost cutting and they cut, I don't know, my office space and my phone, which would be against whatever union is supposed to oversee this, which I couldn't even tell you who it is. I often wonder, about our productivity then, what say would I have against the big government machine, lonely little Dave here, on, hey, I don't have an office space anymore. I don't know. So that's why I kind of hope that whatever union oversight there is, that they kind of see that. So, these are things to think about. I've never really interacted with a union because I've always been either military or a federal employee. And I'm sure other people out there have had interactions or even been part of unions, so more than I have. So yeah, thank you for sharing all your experiences with it, and you really got me thinking there. What else did we talk about? Well, everybody should have got feedback on discussion boards from me. Like I said, I don't provide feedback to everyone, but I read everyone, and I provide comments in all of your papers. And you have to, I think you have to download the papers from Blackboard to see my comments, which are bubbles. That's why I always put comments are attached. So, okay. So once again, this is Dave, and thanks. And thanks for putting up with me on the confusion on the schedules. Okay, thanks. Dave out.